January 10th. Prayers out again to California here at islandproject.com. I do want to do a shout out to Mr. Plaskett. You know who you are. You're one of my amazing investors from Malibu. My dad has been in contact with you, been sending us pictures. I know you had to evacuate. Just want you to know our hearts and prayers are with you, and we really appreciate you, sir. Let us know how we can help, and that goes for all of you, all of our beautiful members in California. I know what we're seeing almost looks like a war zone, kind of looks like Gaza, looks exactly like Lahaina, exactly what we saw in Paradise, and we're just praying for you. So the evacuations have been enormous. It actually appears now that the LAPD is saying it was arson, which I'm not really too sure about. It kind of sounds convenient, like they're trying to blame a civilian, but not Gavin Newsom, and not the radical left, and not the failed politics, and not the fact that they were saving little fish and they don't have any adequate water, and they're more focused on leftism and those politics than they are actual like safety of citizens and the state itself. So it's going to take a long time to rebuild, just like we've seen in other parts, and we're seeing more and more of this. And the question a lot of Americans are asking, are these natural events? Are they man-made? Is it arson? Is it intentional? Are they acts of God? Again, there's a lot of conspiracy around a lot of this stuff as well, and we can only say so much. But I think you know where I stand on all these issues and more. Please take a minute and like and share. I'd really appreciate that. Does us a huge favor getting this information out to the human population, eyes and ears to hear and hopefully see. Today is a very important video because I believe as the Los Angeles fires, Los Angeles is pretty much gone in Armageddon in places like the Pacific Palisades and what we're seeing in Malibu, I think it's a distraction from what the global elites are actually doing over here. So let's talk about like the practicality of what's really going on. So earlier today, Donald Trump was officially convicted, but there's no sentencing. So it's really bizarre. It's like a Banana Republic circus or something. They like did it to make a statement, but it's not like he's going to jail. Even though they said like the conviction typically you'd go to jail for like 4, which I don't agree with any of it. It's a Banana Republic, like Barnum and Bailey circus. It's completely irrelevant, but the Democrats still had to do that. So I just want you to think about like just how vitriolic and arguably hateful they are. Like they can't even accept that the president of the United States was elected by the majority of Americans. They still have to pander to their radicalism even while Los Angeles is burning. And it's an absolute disgrace and also proves kind of what dire need the country is truly in. So that was a big story today. Of course, we are days left before Trump's inauguration in just 10 days. They are militarizing all of Washington, D.C., prepping for the worst. Everything is barricaded, including the Capitol, from what I understand. Also, of course, the White House. National Guard has been deployed into the cities and to the streets of LA. There are a lot of very bad people taking advantage of the situation, ransacking homes, etc. A lot of crime we're seeing in these areas that, of course, were burnt to the ground. So let's pray about that as well. Time will tell if, who knows, maybe martial law will be declared in the state of California very soon if they can't contain the more outbreak of these fires. Calabasas, where a lot of the Hollywood elite live, also had a fire scare within the last 24 hours, and there's been a lot of celebrities that have lost property. I do find it kind of interesting that, there's been 5 lives lost. I'm not sure if any more. Again, hearts and prayers to everybody, but it's interesting to watch the radical leftist Hollywood elites, people like Arnold Schwarzenegger that told me and you to go F your freedom in 2020, complain about these fires and the loss of 5 people's lives and the destruction, even though they were all, pretty much for the most part, safely able to exit and evacuate. We compare this to Gaza, where the U.S. government, along with Israel, has been dropping massive amounts of armaments and absolutely leveling an entire population and people, and I don't hear a peep from anybody. So again, I understand that's controversial, but I'm a big believer in human life. Again, I'm against abortion. For those of you that don't know, abortion was the number one cause of you know what last year and will be this year too. It's truly disgusting, and it's a human sacrifice that civilizations have largely been making for a very, very long time. So a little bit of a side point there. But the question is, what are they not telling us, right? What are you not looking at right now? What's the distraction? What's the deception? Hegelian dialectic, right? Oh, look at the Los Angeles fires, but not what's really going on. Well, what's happening now is actually my major prediction. Bank runs have started, in my opinion, in the United States, have hit, and major financial institutions like Bank of America are preparing for unrealized losses that will exceed the Great Depression and 1929. I notice I'm getting a text from Janet. Janet, God bless you. I'll text you right after this, and I'll give you my 1000X pick. I know you're a member at my club. We'll talk about that in a minute, just because I see she's one of my ballers, so I see that she just texted me. Janet, you got to watch me. I'm on camera right now, okay? Come on. So Bank of America and other large financial institutions in the United States like JP Morgan Chase are now preparing for unrealized catastrophic losses in the United States worse than 1929. So this is a full-blown bank run alert. This has been one of my primary predictions. Again, I predicted the Silicon Valley banking collapse. I never recommended FTX. I always told you that Sam Bankman-Fried was deep state CIA, and he was a fraud. That collapsed. What other banks have collapsed? Alameda Bank. We've got First Republic, predicted that. So now this is all trickling in. You have to understand, too, that these banks like Credit Suisse, that I also predicted collapsed to zero, then gave all these unrealized losses to Bank of America and JP Morgan Chase and UBS. And so First Republic's bankruptcy, largely, Silicon Valley bankruptcy, Signature Bank's bankruptcy was given and absorbed by the too big to fails like Bankrupt of America. So let me show you a chart instead of me just yammering at you. But here are the unrealized gains, losses on investment securities. And you can see the chart as it pushes out to 2024. This is actually worse statistically and mathematically than the 1929 Great Depression. This is why they've been printing so much debt and creating hyperinflation. What you see on the left of the screen, maybe it's on the right side, since there's a reflection on the camera here and you guys are watching me versus I'm putting it on the camera, you'll see those are all unrealized losses. So this includes, U.S. Treasury losses, derivatives, all their exotic securities, and then more importantly, all of the debt that Bank of America, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, and Citibank have absorbed from the catastrophic losses, of course, all paid for by you taxpayers, with the collapse of all these other banks, including 2008 and 09, are now sitting on this devastating unrealized loss. Now, for those of you that don't know what an unrealized loss is, just basic 101, like eventually the banks have to realize the loss, okay, and they have to what it's called in accounting mark to market. So every year, typically what these banks are trying to do is roll off some of the debt off the balance sheet. But because the U.S. government has created a systemic event and a collapse for a reason, because, again, I would argue they want the bank runs. Like the government's actually promoting once and will love when the bank runs hit because, of course, that's what they want to usher in the new system. And with all the enormous amount of money printing, they printed like 40-50% of all U.S. currency over the last 4 to 5 years since 2020. And then in addition to that, erased in a giant erasure all reserve requirements at the banks as well. So I've said this for a long time. And the reason why I've prepped you for this, because I don't want it to be a surprise. And I don't want you to blame me like I didn't warn enough. That's my whole goal, and that's why I do what I do, because God tells me these things. I don't want you to be caught with your pants down around your ankles like 2008-09. I don't want you guys to lose everything, and I don't want you to say that you weren't warned repeatedly incessantly over and over again, just like I warned about Bitcoin. I told you to buy it for 10 years straight, so that there's no excuse for those of you that follow me that if you didn't get rich, that was your fault, not mine. Because again, I have to go to bed at night, and I have to sleep peacefully knowing I've done everything humanly possible to help prep you guys, to make you money, and then to protect, again, your very hard-worked assets that many of you baby boomers, for example, have saved your entire lives, but you're now going to be introduced into a bank run and a total capital control emergency event, much like we had in the lockdowns, but financially, I've always predicted this. I said there'd be physical lockdowns, then there would be financial lockdowns, bank runs, and capital controls in the United States. It's exactly what is happening now. Let me comment on the markets too. You should actually be very greedy when it comes to crypto right now. For whatever reason, human psychology, people don't like buying low. I don't know why. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. But most of the human population, for whatever reason, it's psychological, doesn't like buying dips. They like buying tops and parabolas. And I'm telling you now, you need to take a look. Visit me at school@islandprojectclub.com. For those of you that know the secret pick, you should be buying the crap out of it right now, like I've been doing. This is a massive, huge 1000x opportunity. Make tons of money, in my opinion. I have to say, not financial advice, even though all my picks explode. And, you know, again, I predicted Bitcoin under 1,000 long before Warren Buffett and all these people. You want to buy here. Here's why. And I've been around for a long time, folks. I've been doing this for a while. I was in the shower today, kind of singing away, you know, massaging my scalp, a little shampoo here and there. I'm like, man, Christopher, you've been doing this a long time. I'm like, all glory to God. You've come a long way, you know, since Bitcoin under 1,000 and, you know, 20,000 videos produced and traveling all over the world as a blockchain expert. And of course, launching our world-class project, which will update you on that in a moment as well. So I'm very bullish here. What is happening is we are now witnessing a Bitcoin divergence. I encourage you, if you go on TradingView or another charting tool, like I like to use, pull up a Bitcoin dominance chart, compare it to Ethereum, or compare it to the alt market. You'll see that there's a Bitcoin divergence occurring where now Ethereum is going to pump and then all my altcoin picks are going to sail to the moon. I'm expecting 20, 50%, 100% gains almost daily in certain of these picks in the coming days. So what I'm telling you now, I'm prepping you now because I don't want you buying the parabola. I want you in now. It's very important to lock and load early so that you can capture these gains, and then you're just sitting pretty as this bull run is playing out. Now, the Bitcoin hash rate, of course, has reached a new all-time high. That is statistically very bullish. We obviously we're in the process of the 4-year halvening process as well. And with Trump's bullish headwinds, of course, just announcing a very SEC-friendly chairman in the name of Paul Atkins, who actually served on the board of my new 1000X pick. I have all the gritty details on all this. In fact, my new pick, I'll give you a hint. I'm going to give you guys a hint. I'm going to give you some major alpha. Just for those of you that, if you just did a little research, you'd figure it out. My new 1000X pick is a direct investment of Peter Thiel and Sam Altman. Diamond nuts. It's that big. It's a guarantee, guys. It's a guarantee. Again, always follow the money. Always track the venture capital. Also, you saw an amazing video from Papa John. Papa John, thank you so much. So appreciate you. Papa John's been leading the charge as my wife has been giving birth to a new baby girl, which we're so thankful. All glory to God. We are under contract, an amazing new acquisition at islandproject.com, a brand new $5.5 million penthouse at Hapuna Beach on Big Island. So congratulations to all of our members, including Mr. Plaskett out in Malibu. Glad you're safe, sir. We do love you. I love you. God bless you. Let us know again if you need anything. And please come visit us at Hapuna Bay. But we just bought a new $5.5 million, no bank debt penthouse, commanding views, 2 large bathrooms, plus a den, 2 giant lanais, beachfront, at a beach where I'll tell you a little story. It was actually when I decided, this was like over 10 years ago, and I was holding Austin, I believe it was, in my hands. I was standing right there And this was in the early days, you know, of Greene Wave and AMTV. And I thought to myself, I'm looking at my wife with the rest of my children, and I just said a prayer. I'm moving to Hawaii. This is where I'm going to come. And so it's really cool and spiritual. Never tell me that miracles can't happen, because I'm living proof along with my members. Now we actually own it, which is freaking incredible. You know, people will say they never would have thought it was possible, but I'll be honest, I always knew it was possible, because I have unlimited 1000x faith to the King Jesus Christ, and I felt the calling. And so I encourage you to harness that power that you've got from God and really go for it. So I'm so excited. In addition, what's so amazing for those of you that are not familiar with Big Island, Hawaii, it is the largest island, of course. That's why they call it the Big Island. And this is the best location, arguably, on the Big Island. It is considered one of the two, and was actually rated the #1 beach worldwide very recently by these beach rating services. And all of our members will also have full access to both resorts, Mauna Kea and also the amazing Hapuna Beach Resort, in addition to our private, exclusive, 100% owned outright, 100% equity, no bank debt penthouse. So you get all the pool access, you get all the butler service, you get all the restaurants, you get all the golfing. There's 2 amazing courses, there's pickleball, the list goes on and on. So it's truly an all-encompassing investment, which really rounds out now officially owning, again, congrats to our members, this is why we do all this, now owning 2 amazing exclusive mansions in Maui, a beautiful condo, of course, in Kapalua, which is also beachfront, and our Waikiki beachfront, beach tower, of course, right in the heart of Waikiki. Surfing, we got surfboards right downstairs. You can just take them out in the water. No bank debt. And then in addition to that, our brand new, probably even one of the best, if not the best, arguably, Deer Valley acquisition right on the mountain, our ski lodge mansion. So, I mean, this has really been the hardest hitting and in-your-face process I've ever seen. And I'm just stoked. I'm so excited. I encourage you to watch the video. It's this one right here. Breaking massive $5.5 million beachfront acquisition, Hapuna Beach, Big Island. A lot of you ask me, Christopher, show us the properties, you know, show us the exclusive. I'm giving you some sneak peeks. And I encourage you, make sure you get in, roll over your IRAs and your retirement accounts. Give my dad a call. He can help with that at 808-442-2934. That's 808-442-2934. And then make sure to fill out an app and hit a tier. You want to hit 150K minimum, guys. You want to hit 250, 500, 1,000, like many of my members. That gives you more access to all capital gains, all income potential, and use. At the 1000X Diamond Nets tier, of course, you get 30 days comped every single year. So I'm super stoked. We're now in process of international acquisitions. So it's funny, you know, you'll see how like people will ask questions, and then they'll see how we're building this out. We thought of it all, guys. Okay, a lot of people are like, well, Christopher, I really like the properties you bought, but man, I would really love it if you bought like in, you know, Thailand and Bali. It's like, bro, we're already on it. So our founders round truly is an internationalized parallel economy with no bank debt, making all of our members rich, soon to be tokenized on a multi-billion-dollar blockchain. All my members are going to get tokens too, just a separate event, because I just want to make them more rich in addition to their hardcore investment into the no bank debt property portfolio. But we're internationalizing as well. That's why I was in Asia for like 3 months, guys. I was in Bali. I was looking at real estate from helicopters in Thailand. That's why I was on yachts in Thailand earlier this year, because we've already scoped it out and we're laying the groundwork for a few more massive surprises and things you guys don't even know about. Again, we've thought of it all. The whole point, in my view, of getting rich is to provide tools and access, hope, to people, and to give them the opportunity to go live their best lives, not for themselves, but in service for the Lord and Jesus Christ, the King. The Mashugana, as my good friend had called me, my Jewish friend, very nice gentleman, really great guy, calls me the Mashugana. So God bless you, sir. It is an honor. And God bless all of you tuning in. So let's also take a quick look what's going on here in the news. So let me grab my laptop. Okay, let's see what we got here. So, again, another thing that really just kind of pisses me off, to be honest, is people have really short-term memory loss. So it's like everyone's all over these fires right now, And I'm going to encourage you to really pray continuously, even after the media drops this story. Because I saw the same thing in Lahaina. You know, there's a lot of attention and a lot of focus, and we raised a lot of money for charity, and that was amazing, and all glory to God. I mean, we bought people trucks and food and water. I had all my friends running their boats, the ones that were still left standing from Southside Maui. I mean, we were the ones providing all the resources and the food and the water. But again, the national attention will be focused for a short period of time. Then they'll dump the story and they'll be off to the next crisis. So I just want you to understand that, you know, excluding the Hollywood elite, nothing against, you know, famous people or anything like that. But, you know, they can rebuild their houses and they've got endless amounts of money. It's not a big deal for, you know, Charlie Sheen or whoever it is to just build a new house. But there's a lot of people that lost everything, and they lost a lot of sentimental value on personal, you know, memories, possessions. And I think this is a lesson. And I really want us to think about this lesson. And I learned this living through the Lahaina fire. And I've always felt this way, and I've always been this type of person, is that this is why we can't value the world, right? You know, as Christians, as believer in God, and I hope I've taught you this, all these things don't matter. I'm wearing a Yachtmaster too. I love watches. I got a full collection of them, and I think they're great. I love them from an artistic standpoint, but they don't matter. Nothing physically possessed matters. All of it, they're just tools. And so I really encourage you, and I'm telling you this secret too, because it's good for you spiritually, but it's also good for you in terms of making money. When you let go of the world and you're like, I don't care, man. Like, these are tools. You know, when I'm driving my Lambo down the street, my 13 Jeeps, I'm not caring about those physical things. They're just tools and access points. It's like water and energy just sloshing around. None of it matters. I mean, trust me, guys, when I was holding my brother when he died in my arms and took his last breath, the last thing we cared about was, you know, our bank accounts, okay? So don't worry about it. And I also want you to know how blessed some of you are that don't think you're blessed. Somebody's praying for what you have today. Somebody's literally praying for what you don't have, or what you have now that they don't have. I'll tell you just kind of a nice story. My mom's husband, who's since passed, rest in peace, George, always told me a really great story, and he was a very good man. He was lost the use of his legs in a construction accident. So he was in a wheelchair. He had full capabilities. He played golf every single day, never let anything stop him. He's an amazing athlete, amazing swimmer, and he was an amazing athlete even when he couldn't walk. I think he had like 6 hole-in-ones with my mom. And they were an amazing, beautiful couple. But he always told me this story when he first lost the use of his legs and he had his back injury. He was a construction worker that used to, build the buildings in Chicago. He's blue collar, strong dude. And anyways, he fell off and got in a terrible injury, almost died. Anyways, he got a new lease on life, and he was very depressed at first, losing his legs, he told me. But he said after, some time passed and physical therapy, he went to a couple meetings with other people that were struggling and that had issues with paraplegia and other things like this. He said there was one gentleman that really stood out to him in his 20s. He had just come back from one of the wars overseas. Don't know what war it was, but he had stepped like on an IED or something and lost both of his arms and his legs. And he was in his 20s, and he was married and had a beautiful family. Anyways, this guy broke down in tears. Everyone's kind of describing their stories to everybody, and he was bawling because he could never hug his kids again. I mean, it even upsets me. And George told me that he would never feel sorry for himself again, ever in his entire life. And from there, he went on and built this amazing life and then became an amazing athlete, extremely well known, actually, in Maui. Better golfer than me. Like, I'm not joking. Like, I'll get out there. I'm a pretty decent golfer. George would kick my ass from his wheelchair. He had a special cart, and he had this chair that moved, and he was known all over the island. Very, very cool guy. And so I just share that story with you is that a lot of you think you don't have enough. Okay, a lot of you might not be happy with your current situation and you want to make more money. You should, and I'm going to help you do that. I'm going to help you dominate in 2025 and 2026 and 2027. You want that hunger and fire, but I want you to be okay with where you are in the moment. Okay, because I'm telling you this from personal experience. No matter how big your net worth gets, no matter how many things you own, no matter how many watches, how many Lamborghinis, how many Ferrari, whatever it might be, it's never going to be enough. You have to be content, and you have to love God and know that he's got a plan for you and he's pushing you forward in a material way. And there's someone else praying for what you have today that you think you don't have. So never give me the sob story. There's always someone in a worse situation. So anyways, I hope that provides some like hope and motivation to you all today, especially since I know that there's a lot of pain and suffering out there right now. I mean, look at these fires. It's absolutely incredible, guys. It is freaking insane. So let me think about what other kind of alpha I can provide for you. Really, you need to be extremely bullish in crypto right now. This is your moment. I'm expecting a dramatic decoupling. We are seeing divergence again in Bitcoin dominance. That means that Bitcoin, I'm expecting actually to, could even go lower right now. Maybe it's trading around 90K, maybe even a little bit lower than that. Ethereum is now going to take root. And Ethereum is comparatively very undervalued, the 2 trillion Bitcoin market today. And this will also provide fuel to the fire, so to speak, pun I guess intended, for the altcoin rally. My new pick is probably, it is the best pick I've been following this for a very, very long time. Again, it's a direct Peter Thiel, Sam Altman investment with a true use case that actually solves a real world problem, of which I just gave you guys basically for free. $1,500 at school, that's all you pay, and you get $1 million or more worth of value. Like, that's absolutely insane. People have always asked me that too. What do I get at your Bitcoin school? Well, if you would have paid $200 at bitcoinrich.com 10 years ago, and you did anything I recommended, you're now a millionaire. Anything. I can just go over countless positions at 1000x. BAT token, 1000x, MCO, and then crypto.com CRO. That was one of my best performers, which then, bought entire stadiums. They're the first in the world to have Visa cards that actually allow you to transact your crypto. People still don't know this. People still tell me all the time, well, how do you use your crypto? I don't know. I got a Visa card. Visa supports it. You just swipe your freaking card. Coinbase has card. You just swipe it, and it'll, deduct and debit Solana from your account, or Ethereum, or Bitcoin, or whatever. So we're really in the pre-mania phase. Also, what these fires really expose is the value of tokenized assets, which I'd already thought of in advance as well. For example, real estate has very strategic advantages that other asset classes don't. One, use, a roof over your head, rents, cash flows. It's physical. You can touch it. You can use it. It's protective, right? It also has, depreciation advantages. It has certain tax advantages within the U.S. tax code, of course, and also internationally. There's leverage advantages to real estate, but real estate also has disadvantages. Portability, right? Moving a huge commercial building or a piece of residential real estate. It has risks like fires and floods and hurricanes and unpredictable events. Like, look at all the real estate in Miami. And so what we've built is we married the best of both worlds. All the advantages of Bitcoin, crypto, and the Rolex of the new era, and the new epic of blockchain technology, and then we married it with the best real estate class in the world. Then they got together and had babies. And that's what islandproject.com is. We've taken the best of class real estate in the world that normally you couldn't afford and access, fractionalized it so all of you can afford it, right? We get you into all those capital gains, all the true ownership, all the income rights, plus use. And it's not a timeshare. Timeshares suck. I would advise you never, ever buy a timeshare. They are terrible. Timeshares are the worst investment that you could ever participate in. We're not a timeshare at all. We are a true 100% owned private group. Okay, just like if you and I and a couple of you came together with $100 million in personal capital, we just started buying real estate and we all owned 1/3 of it. That's how islandproject.com works. It's very easy to understand. There's no downside because there's no debt. And then what we've done is we've married and introduced the best components of Bitcoin and brought it in and made love, mwah, 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 sweet love together right? Got the little Rolex making love to the islandproject.com. And we made little beautiful babies with little blue eyes. They're so beautiful. And that's what we've done. Now, what are the advantages of Bitcoin? Portability. So now for the first time in the world, my members, as we soon to launch our blockchain and tokenize 1000X in 2025, are going to have portability and liquidity to a traditional asset stream that never had that before. Also, you have privacy and sovereignty rights you would never get in the traditional world. All of my members, of course, will have private keys to their access and ownership of the physical backed asset with no bank debt, which is unconfiscatable because of that reason. And no one can touch it. So again, as these fires erupt in Los Angeles, it's also kind of showcasing the power of blockchain. That, the Malibu mansion not tokenized actually is a risk, which is why you should tokenize Malibuya and Maui Buya, right? And Oahu Buya, and Park City Buya, and Waikiki Buya, and freaking Big Island Buya, and the Thailand Buya, and the Bala Buya. And this is truly what makes us genius, honestly, is we're the first to understand this. Even my CPA, she was like looking at my tax returns. She thinks I'm crazy, man. She's like looking at them and her eyes are popping out because they're big numbers. And she's like, did you model this after somebody? Like, how did you think of this, Christopher? I'm like, I invented it. And it's just like, you know, it's insane because she's never seen anything like it before. She's astonished by the numbers. She's just like, how'd you do this? Like, who gave you the idea? I'm like, God. I mean, it's just, my wife and I crack up about this. She's like, everyone thinks you're crazy, but then you pull it off, and then everyone's like, oh, he's a genius. Little crazy is good. So, you know, we're really in I will give it to Trump a little bit today, actually. You know, I'm not too sure if politically things are going to work out. But this truly is a golden age for the blockchain revolution and what we've done with tokenized blockchain real estate. That definitely is a revolution. As I share with you, I always like to read my top books that I've ever read that have helped me make a lot of money through the years. One is Peter Thiel's 0 to 1. As soon as I read it, I 10x'd my money and made several more $1 million. It's crazy. That was like 10 years ago, something like that. Love Tony Robbins, made a ton of money off all of his books. Even Ty Lopez, he gets a lot of hate. I've definitely made millions implementing some of his advice in the years. I mean, people don't actually put things into action. See, I'm kind of an experimental type person. I'll try stuff. I'll be like, okay, well, if that didn't work, if I screw it in this way, maybe it'll go in, you know? And I just keep playing with stuff until I reveal, right, the what's the word for it? When I reveal like the little opportunity, and then I magnify it. I've given you this story before too, but when I made my first $100 with Google AdSense on YouTube, I took it to my wife. I'm like, honey, we're rich. I just made my first $100 making videos online. She's like, oh yeah, good job, dude. And that was like in 2008 and 09. But see, with me, it clicked. If you can make $100, it means I can make 1,000. If I can make 1,000, then I can make 10. And then if I can make 10,000, I can make 100K. And then if I make 100K, I can make $1 million, then make 10 million, then 100. See, that's how I think. I'm like, ooh, I found an opportunity no one knows about. And so these opportunities won't last. We are closing the door to this founders round. There's only ever going to be one founders round. It's a very exclusive, private access to my community and network. There's only ever going to be one founders no bank debt token event. You do understand that my founders are the only people in the world that are truly invested in the kind of equivalent IPO, right? In the future, we're going to have 10 other flagships, and there'll be billions of dollars of real estate that we own, right? It's going to be massive, but we're never token launching again. You see what I'm saying? There's only ever one big token launch. And so only my founders participate in that. And that's why they're all going to get the 1000x gains, because they took that risk, right? Once we're mainstream and we've got flagships all over the world and we're deploying hundreds of millions in various locations and then connecting that into our multi-billion-dollar network, there's still going to be, fabulous opportunities to make money. And there's going to be tons of commerce going on and along our blockchain. And of course, real estate will be bought and sold. And we're going to completely disrupt real estate agents and the real estate industry and eliminate, title and insurance middlemen and fees and all that. I've thought of it all. But by the time that happens, you're kind of in the Bitcoin 100K stage at that time, or the Bitcoin 300,000, which is like where we are in Bitcoin now. Like now it's kind of obvious to people like, oh, I guess that Bitcoin is something real. Yeah, I guess I probably should buy that. Well, only because it's trading above 100K. But you've already missed the 1000X, you've missed the million, percent gains and rates of return. So anyways, I love you guys. I got more announcements coming. We've got more acquisitions coming. Give my dad a call now and roll over your 401k and retirement accounts as soon as you can. I'm very worried, and I'm not worried. I'm not even predicting. I'm telling you bank runs are here and they're coming. Again, U.S. financial institutions have more, this is a fact, unrealized losses on their books than the 1929 Great Depression. Why is this happening? As the 10-year yield rises during the hyperinflationary money printing, the inverse happens to bond prices. And so the nominal value of the bonds, which trades inversely to the yield or the interest rates, causes a problem at the banks. This is what we saw in 2008-09. It creates a systemic collapse event that will only result in bankruptcy. We saw this in 08 and 09. They created the synthetic-backed mortgage-backed securities, backed by nothing, synthetically derived, right? It reaches a point of scale, and then no one even knows what's backing it because it's all debt and it's all leverage, and then everything collapses, and then the banks go into bank runs, which we had in 08 and 09. It's already happened once. It's going to happen multiple times, 1929, 1987. We've seen it over and over again, so it's not new news. For those of you out there that think it's fear-mongering, all the banks in the United States already collapsed to zero in 08 and 09. Have you read about TARP? Have you read about the economic catastrophe? I mean, that's what happened. Record amounts of foreclosures and short sales and economic Armageddon. There were congressmen and politicians warning us that martial law would come imminently unless the bailouts were paid out to the rich, like Jamie Dimon. So it's not like it hasn't happened before. It's like getting beat by an abuser. It's going to happen again. He's going to pop off. He's going to have too many drinks later tonight, and it's going to happen again. So it's the equivalent of what's going on in the banking world now. So again, that's the world I come from. I know it better than anyone in the world. That's how I knew about Bitcoin. And I'm telling you, you need to rush your money out of the banks now before the equivalent metaphorical catastrophe of your life's work and assets, wealth and net worth, is burned to the ground, just like Los Angeles. And just like we've seen in other places, which is why, where's the best place to put your money? In a no bank debt asset that is also backed by something physical and real. That produces capital gains long-term and also cash flows. That also has a real world use case and an enjoyment and lifestyle factor. Again, you can use all of our properties depending on your tiers, 150 all the way to $1 million. So you actually get value out of it. You don't get that with Bitcoin. Again, we've done the best of both. If you own one Bitcoin, let's say even your Bitcoin's worth $1 million in the future, what are you going to do with it? Tell your wife, hey, check it out, it's $1 million. She's going to be like, well, that's cool. Can we go vacation in our Bitcoin, honey? He's going to be like, no, it's just, I don't know. Here's my computer screen. This is like, it's not impressive. But what if your tangible physical economic wealth and power was sovereign only to you, your family, kids, and a legacy investment, physically accessible, lifestyle enjoyment enhancement, which also had all the traditional features of capital gains, income, and traditional investments, and real estate tax advantages, depreciation, 1031 exchanges. My father and I expect to, use those methods in the future as well, as we just keep rolling over profits into infinite gains on behalf. I mean, this is a legacy, and I expect to be 85 years old, still running it, and my kids, Austin and everybody, will keep running it. And all of my members and their kids will just keep inheriting massive amounts of wealth. That's why we built it. And then you also married that with the best economic sovereignty, portability aspects, and security aspects of blockchain and Bitcoin. And so that's what we've done. We've married the physical asset with the tokenized one, right? Providing the best of both worlds, and then eradicating all downside because we don't have any debt. Now, all the other investments out there, again, I just want you to fully understand, to be transparent with you. If you go invest with Grant Cardone, nothing against Grant Cardone. He's a good guy. I don't really know him well, but I think he's done well for himself. You're investing in leverage. Okay, if you buy his commercial, you're never going to stay at a property. You don't get to use a property. There's no personal advantage. You don't get invited to a network. You can't go visit Maui. Okay, you just get something on paper. But I also want you to understand that his paper is backed by almost 100% debt and leverage. Over periods of time, that can work out as long as the markets are going up. But when they crash, you go out of business. Prayers' way, I guess, his place in Malibu lit on fire, one of his spec homes out there. So again, proving my point that the best of both worlds of a physical asset married with all the principles of blockchain is actually the best investment. I actually think it's better than Bitcoin because it has all the properties of Bitcoin, but physical tangibility, enjoyment, and lifestyle enhancement factors that the other components don't. I don't know about you. Life is short. You might as well have a freaking good time. No one cares about your net worth, guys. No one cares about the digits on the screen. What you should be caring about, honestly, is it life experience and making memories with your kids and family while you still can before you're being hugged by your loved one and passing to the other side eternally, thankfully, to live with the King Jesus. But until then, you should be lightning rods and examples. And you should be bold in taking aggressive action today to go live your best life in service and to do big, bold things along with the General Greene and Papa John and his amazing members, thousands of you now all around the world, as we break ground, internationalize, and really provide the foundation, strength, and cornerstone rock for future wealth creation success and pioneering the future of blockchain, finance, and of course, tokenized real-world assets and real estate, beach, oceanfront, ski lodges, and of course, best international investments in the world, which also will help you. Also is very creative in the respect is we can play some international currency advantages as well. We've thought of it all, guys. God bless you. And really, God thought of it all. I just was able to download it from him. And then, of course, launch islandproject.com 1776 and do big, bold things on behalf of all of you. It is an honor. Jesus Christ is Lord. Again, click the links below. Fill out a 5-minute app at islandproject.com today. You can fund directly. We accept ACH, wire transfer, prefer crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins. If you're paying in crypto, please speak with my father. Text or call him at 808-442-2934. And because my father and I are very busy, make sure you just fill out an app and sign it. If you have follow-up questions, you can always text and call us. We get a little tickle once you fill out the app. So when you fill out the little app at the members tab, my dad and I we get tickled. Okay, seriously though, and I'm being kind of funny, but no, our cell phones give us a little, alert. And so that way we can call you, help you through the process. But in addition to that, you can just fund directly right there. All you have to do is go to the website. I'll never reach out to you on Facebook Messenger. We're not instant messaging you, okay? So be careful out there. You can only go to our official website, which I just showed you, islandproject.com, or call my only number that is my dad's direct access at 808-442-2934. I'll never friend request you. I'll never WhatsApp you or anything. I don't have time to do. I mean, could you think about that? People actually think I'm doing that? Of course I would never have time to do that. Fill out the app. That's the safest thing that you need to do. And it'll get your money out of the banks, at least diversify a little bit. I mean, God forbid I'm right, like I was right about Bitcoin and social media, e-commerce and geopolitics and the invasion of Ukraine and the, God forbid, attack October 7th on Israel. If I'm also right about these bank runs and you're still in the bank and you have all your money at the bank, you're going to be in a bad situation and it'll be the equivalent of your whole house burning down to the ground like we're seeing in Los Angeles today, financially speaking. At the very least, you should be diversifying. You should put at least $150,000 into islandproject.com just to have the peace of mind to know you've private banked it with the best real estate asset class investment in the world, with the best Christian-led team, God Faith First team in the world that is leading the charge and following Jesus and doing great things for his flock and his people and building kingdom wealth. Then come and visit and book your time at our exclusive set of properties. Touch, feel, sleep, get a suntan, have a Mai Tai, and enjoy yourself. And tell all your friends about your new world-class, fractionally true, 100% equity-owned investment that's doing big things that you're actually getting a lifestyle and enjoyment enhancement from that you would never get from a pesky, stupid stock or a bond or even Bitcoin, for that matter. Bitcoin's just digital. You can't use it. You can't do anything with it. And even Michael Saylor, who's using debt to buy Bitcoin, still owns mansions and yachts and Rolexes. So understand that truth. It's not like he's living in poverty. I encourage you guys to go bold in every aspect of your life, including your physical and spiritual health. And I'll help you along with that. And I believe I've led by example for going on 20 years now. God bless you. Jesus Christ is King. It is an honor. Please like and share. I could really use your help with that because these algorithms don't want our content out. And also, you should be telling your friends and family about tokenized, fractionally owned, 100% equity rights to real estate like what we're doing with islandproject.com because we're the first in the world to do it. And this year in 2025, you're going to start hearing all the mainstream pundits talk about it. You're going to be learning about Goldman Sachs moving in and BlackRock. And you're going to be like, wait a minute, what Christopher Greene was telling me along with his father is actually the future. But by then, the opportunity window will have closed. And all of my members will have already 1,000x'd and you won't be in the founders round. You'll probably, which is great, come on board then, but you'll be buying into later projects, right? And other flagships, but you're not going to get our token launch. You're never going to get into that IPO. You understand what I'm saying, right? Only the founders will ever get that. And that's why it's very highly scrutinized. And my dad and I interview everybody. And you have to be approved by us even to get in. We turn most people away. And we've only reserved a few more units left as we've been closing out year end. Really just to give opportunity for our existing investors to really upgrade, hit those tiers. And then there's a couple of you stragglers out there that I know are ballers, but you've been hesitating. And I'll be honest, God told me, he's like, there's a few more people that you need to let in. And then it's going to be complete. And then we've got our full access point and our already developed portfolio. Then the sky's the limit. Once we tokenize, that's going to bring in billions of dollars of new liquidity. And of course, we're going to deploy that as your management team, along with all of our members to all these other future investments. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Full-blown network. We got private limousine service at all the properties. There's Jeeps loaded in all the properties, Lambos. It's insane. Like yachts, helicopters, private charter, butler, massages, service. I don't know, what more could you guys possibly ask for? Like, you're going to go buy a REIT? You're going to go buy a REIT and show your honey that you bought a REIT that's highly leveraged, it's probably going to collapse? Or you can buy Island Project and live the best life of your dreams along with the general. I show you it every freaking day. Now that our new baby has been born, I'll be able to start traveling again. But as you guys know, family first. And we also had a death in our family very recently as well on my wife's side. So we kind of got hammered like the last couple months. It was like, funerals to birthing to freaking insanity. And now Los Angeles is on fire. God, I can't pretend to understand everything, but just know that I submit to you in your holy name, as I know we most of us here all feel. I love you. God bless you. Jesus Christ is King. And also, a lot of you have asked me too about like my clothing line. As you've noticed, I've been experimenting with a lot of different threads and stuff for a very long time, and we've got all kinds of new merch rolling out. So if you are a new onboard, just know if you've come in like even the last month or two, I've got all new hats and coffee mugs and all this stuff coming out. It's in production. I just haven't had time to get it out yet. That's coming. And yeah, if you guys like, I'm thinking I'll probably even just kind of come out, see all the custom thread. I got a really good eye for fashion actually. So maybe we'll just do a whole Island Project line. I think that'd be pretty dope. Not my primary business or anything, but like, I don't know, man. Every time I wear my shirts, people are like, they tell me they want to buy them. They always ask me about my watches and my belts and shoes and everything. So I don't know. Anyways, I love you guys. Jesus Christ is King. 1000 freaking X, baby. to the frickin' moon. Links below at islandproject.com. That's islandproject.com. See our terms and disclaimers. Call my dad at 808-442-2934. That's 808-442-2934. Fill out an app today. Come in. Hit a tier of $150,000 or more in the membership tab. Call my dad if you have any questions and book time at our world-exclusive resort properties. Enjoy yourself. Go big in the first tokenized real estate, real-world project with no bank debt built by the kingdom of God. Ladies and gentlemen, and amazing people, God first, faith first, worldwide. Again, prayers to our friends and family out in California, specifically a prayer out to Mr. Plaskett. You're one of my Diamond Nut members too as well. God bless you. Jesus Christ is King, and yeah, we love you. So just let us know how we can help, and hope to see you soon. And please come out as you already have, and stay at some of our beautiful existing properties. Please come out and enjoy Hapuna as well. We will make sure it happens, and we just love you all. You guys are all great people, and you're loved by me, and you're loved by God, and you're special. So go out there and kick some major butt today, and spread the truth, and like and share this video, and give some hope and joy to someone that needs it. Never feel sorry for yourself. Remember that story I told you about the guy that had no arms and legs. Look yourself in the mirror today and be thankful for whatever it is you do have, because somebody's praying for what you already got. I love you. Jesus Christ is King. The digital Noah's Ark is setting sail.